guys. How you
Hey,
doing?
we're doing fine. You know, we've got an author. An author? Yeah.
And also,
Someone who writes books.
oh, is that what that is? Right.
Isn't it?
I think
Yes.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She's had a film made as well. So the reason that she's here is because I hope that she'll write us a film or something, because
Of
we need
course.
the work, don't we, girls?
Well, speak for yourself, darling. Oh, no, actually, darling, you never stop working, Debbie.
Oh well, I am slightly tired. I've got to go today when I finish this. I've got to go and get my colour done because my roots are showing, and I've been using the spray. Oh
Oh,
gosh,
you
there
look
must be
gorgeous.
a pill that makes you blonde. I've got to find a way. I'm so bored of getting my roots done. I really am.
Oh, well, being in Cobham, darling,
Mm,
it's so fabulous because there are so many hairdressers here, aren't there?
thousands, yes,
Yeah.
thousands,
Yes,
thousands and thousands. But
thousands.
we'll have a hair conversation another day because
Oh,
now
we
we've
will.
got to have our guest, who is Samantha Lee Howe. Hello, hi,
Hey!
hi, Sam.
Oh,
Welcome. We've been trying to get hold of you for ages, and I'm so glad you've
oh,
flown into our nest this Friday afternoon. Now, please, I'd like you to tell all the Wonderbirds here because I've met you before. I met you at Fraser Hines, didn't I? And we
you
met
did.
at Jordan Conway's incredible. Well, isn't he talented? My
Very, very.
and
That was an amazing
gorgeous.
night, wasn't it?
And he's so gorgeous, which makes me feel very weird saying that because I have known him since he was 10.
Oh,
But he is very handsome, isn't he?
he is very, very.
Yeah.
I actually was quite blown away by the show. I thought it was just incredible, really.
Yeah.
And
I
I
think
didn't expect what I didn't know what to expect, but it was even better than I could have expected. So it was
I think
amazing.
it's because it had elements of so much in it, of, theatre, and then, acrobats and,
Circus.
magic.
Yes.
It was just bits of everything. And it was
Mm.
it was wonderful, wasn't it? Dee? You loved it too, didn't you?
Well, yeah, because Debbie had to go back and she took me the next time, which was very lovely. Thank you. But it was a fantastic show. And I remember you coming back and saying, the best show I've seen in years. And it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Really. I love all that. It's like Cirque du Soleil when it first came out. It was just so extraordinary. And this had elements of real theatre and, as you say, circus and acrobatics and wonderful, really wonderful. So
And it was very
Sam,
nostalgic as well, wasn't it? It was
yeah,
nostalgic, I
yeah.
thought,
Yeah.
So Dominic, tell me about you because I know that you've written for Doctor Who as well, haven't you?
I
As
have.
well as,
I've written a Doctor Who spin-off, not exactly for Doctor Who, but I've done a
yeah,
Doctor Who spin-off film, which
yeah.
ended up being turned into a six-part drama rather than a film because I kind of devised the overall story arc for it and invited other writers to write an episode each. And that was starring Damaris Heyman, who was originally in the Damons
Ah,
with John Pertwee back in the day,
right.
which was
Ah,
a really good story.
So
amazing.
we've had Russell T Davis on this show quite a
Oh,
lot.
have you?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
we attack him quite regularly.
Yes, we do.
So I'd
We
like
do.
to introduce you to the Wonderbirds, Sam. So in the yellow, we have June Field, who is our wonderful friend, but also has been voted the top psychic in the world. So she obviously knew you were coming today. And
No,
and
oh,
Dee Anderson in the middle, who I don't think you've met, Dee. And Natalie Francis, who is another wonderful actress, who's another Wonderbird. And so we were just, your story is very interesting. Can you tell us, I mean, how this happened to you in lockdown, didn't it? You had an incredible experience.
Yes, I'd written this novel called The Stranger in Our Bed. And it was my first straight thought forward thriller because before that I was always writing horror or fantasy. And my agent had sold it to HarperCollins to their one more chapter in print. And the book just, it was coming out during lockdown. And I thought, oh no, I can't believe it. I'd had all these book tours lined up. We couldn't do anything. I thought it's just going to absolutely pan. It's not going to do anything. Nobody's going to know it even exists. And within a few days before it actually went live and a few days afterwards, it became a USA Today bestseller. It just sold so many copies that we were really shocked. And then a few months later, we're still all in lockdown, goodness out, God help us all, we were. And Terry Dwyer, who you may know, Terry
We do,
actually.
she's been on the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's lovely. She approached me about the book, and she said, I want to make a film this year. I'm looking to make a thriller. And I said, well, I can help you with that because I've got this book. And in fact, it was Fraser that made an introduction between myself and Terry, and that's how that happened initially. And she read the book, loved it, and she said, I want to make this into a film, and I said, well, I can write you the screenplay because I have done that before and I've got a degree in it. And she said, oh, okay, how quickly can you do it? I said, well, give me about 2 weeks. And she went 2 weeks, and she did want it quick. So it actually was by the time she got the draft from me, that was at 4 drafts for me. I'd done 4 drafts on it by then, and it was 2 weeks. Wow. And then we eventually went to about 9 drafts after we all start talking about it and, tweaking and changing and improving. So it was quite, films don't get made that way normally, and not that quickly.
So who's in it?
Well, we've got the lovely Samantha Bond, and we've got a very talented actress called Emily Berrington, who you may know from Humans. She was the beautiful robot that was long blonde hair, gorgeous girl. Her real life husband, Ben Lloyd Hughes, and Ben's currently going down a storm in America because he's basically the lead male in Sanditon, and he's got a massive following over there. So his career's just taken this amazing trajectory now, and it was already good anyway. He's also in The Crown. With the series he's the what do they call it? He's like the spin doctor with Camilla and Charles when they're trying to improve her image. So he plays that part, and he's a really talented young man, fantastic, and also the amazing Nina Wadia, who just sweet.
She's also been on our show.
She's also been here.
I love Nina. She's just like the best person. She's just so amazing. And Joseph Marcel used to be in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I think it was. Yeah, so quite a cast. We did really well.
Dan, where can we see it?
It's available on streaming now. It aired on Showtime originally. It premiered on Showtime in America originally, and it's now on. You can see it on Prime. You can see it on Rakuten, iTunes. I'm trying to think where else. Sky. I think it's on Sky as well.
Oh, I look forward to seeing that. I know Sam, and she's a fantastic actress. She's brilliant.
She really makes it. I can't even imagine anybody playing Isadora, anybody else doing it any better than she did. She was just amazing. It was just her immediately. The minute they said they were casting her, I was like, oh yes, she's perfect, absolutely perfect.
So we would like you to write a Wonderbirds film for us, please.
Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it? Oh,
it would.
That would be good.
All flying into the nest. Yes,
the creative juices are already going now.
Yes, but you've seen quite a lot of horror, haven't you? What is it about horror and thrillers that we all love? Why do we love it so much?
I think we love horror and thrillers so much because we like to be scared, but in a safe way. And we can watch it in a voyeuristic way. We can see all these horrible things happening to other people. And we're scared, but we kind of enjoy that a little bit. But then we're safe as well, if that makes any sense. That's what I think.
That was a really good description. That was really great, actually. I've never actually heard that said in that way before, but that's very, very, thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
It makes sense in a way, because then we can watch it and we know that really deep down in our souls we know it's not real. But I've got this terrible thing that's going on in my. It started at lockdown. Is that I just love to watch true crime stories. I mean, completely addicted to anything that's real. And also, some of the crimes. I mean, they're terrible, but I just love them all. I mean, I don't know why. I've never ever before have become so addicted, but I think it's all because it's like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? And you have to think of the way and some of the way the detectives work. I just love true crime. Does that mean I'm a weirdo?
No, not at all. I think I'm the same. And the reason I watch them, because I mean, obviously, being a writer, I people watch a lot anyway. And to me, these psychopaths that do things are fascinating because you know, as a writer, I often try to get into the head of, you know, somebody who is, you know, a killer. I do that quite a lot. I've written in the head of a killer very often. And so you want to kind of understand what makes them tick, I think, why they do it. And also there's this innate horror of how they could do that. Because you as a normal person, you know fine well you could never do these horrible things that
but
these people
also,
do.
the other thing that always gets me is the fact that always, I think, if you committed a murder, oh, well, I would anyway, expect to get caught.
Yes, I would.
You know what I mean? I've done this. They're going to catch me.
Yes.
But these people don't think that.
No.
Because
And they don't. A lot of them don't get caught.
Let's face it, we've all wanted to kill people sometimes, haven't we?
Well, we certainly say it.
But there's something in us that says, nope, because if I do that, it will ruin my life.
Have you ever helped solve crimes?
Oh,
Yes.
that's what I was going to ask June as well.
Oh.
Yes, June.
I have helped, especially you could actually watch the footage on the website. I found a murderer and I described him with a tattoo on his shoulder, scar on his hand, etc. Just by holding to a girl's chain that was murdered, and they found him 9 months later, and it hit BBC News. But what I wanted to ask Sam is that, because when I was looking at her there, she's quite perceptive. You've always been a bit different, haven't you, Sam? You've always been a bit different. When I'm looking at you, I can't help it, because that's what I do. I look at people's energy. And you've got the most incredible knack that you can tell whether you like somebody or whether you don't instantly.
You're spot on there, June.
You know,
spot
that
on.
is why you get into people's heads. You can take a little bit of a back step and you can actually see what makes them tick. And so when you're looking at all these people, similar to like Ted Bundy and all these people, I feel that you've watched these people and documentaries to actually find out how they tick or what's going on in their head. And I think that that's accentuated, and you've been able to do writing about it because you've been able to think like them. You're a bit spiritual yourself, Mrs.
I am. I agree with you. You're
Oh my God.
You are spot on, June. I'm actually a Reiki master as well.
Because I can see all the energy around you just when I listen to your voice, and I'm into the energy. And you're a very loyal person. You don't like disloyalty. That does not sit well with you. And you like things to be just so. You hate incompetence. And
so
that
much.
is fault. But I think you would be a good, loyal person or friend to have. And you are what you would call a perfectionist. You like to be 100% good at what you do. You're not slapdash. And that's why you're good at it.
Thank you. You've got me spot on. You've got me spot on.
You didn't say you were going to have a reading today, did you?
No, I didn't, but that's amazing. And I actually, you know, the thing about being 100%, it also puts you under an awful lot of pressure, because I never want to do as good as I did last time. I have to do better.
Yeah.
You know, you keep pushing yourself, and it's definitely a trait in me that I just have to keep achieving things and
but
keep
you will
working
keep
hard.
achieving, because what you do is you set a precedent, you set a standard, and you go beyond that. And you know, you separate the wheat from the chaff. If somebody's not doing something, I mean, I would like you to work for me if I was needing that sort of thing, but I wouldn't like to work for you. Don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that you set such a high standard that
Well, there we go.
You
I
said
like that. Thank you. Thanks, June.
oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Oh.
So Sam, what's happening now?
Well, at the moment, the Stranger in Our Bed script is doing the rounds on a lot of the film festival circuits, and it's performing really, really well, I have to say. I mean, we're in semi-finals in about 6 or 7 of them at the moment. And I also put in a book that I hadn't managed to sell yet, which, you know, my agent's doing the rounds. And they invited me to submit to this festival, which was actually the Script Awards Los Angeles. And this book that I've written and I'm very, very proud of, I put it in just to see what opinion they would have of it. and it won. so
wow.
I was a bit shocked because I didn't even think it'd get placed, but it actually won. So I'm waiting at the moment to see if we've gone any further with the screenplay, and beyond the semi-finals. But to be in the semi-finals, to even get nominated, is just fantastic anyway. So
That's
very happy
brilliant.
with that.
That's great.
And are you writing something that we could all be in soon, please?
I'm tempted to, now that you've suggested it. I have to say, I mean, the ideas have already started. I think I could do a great, an amazing script for you ladies. I really do.
Oh, wow. Well, it's funny that Tony McHale actually wrote us two series called Wonderbirds Investigates. And it was absolutely hilarious. Of course, was I the murderer? Yes, I was, wasn't I, in the end?
Yeah, in the end.
Remember?
Yeah, well, Tony had me,
suspect.
Tony McHale had me as twins, didn't he?
Oh, I like that.
Of course.
I like that. How did you enjoy being the murderer?
Yes. Well, half of me was a murderer and the other half wasn't. I mean, so I was the one half. But yeah, I did. And also because we didn't know until the end who did it, because Tony was writing it as we were recording it.
Well, you didn't even know yourself.
So you couldn't even do any subliminal hints in the performance because you didn't know it. I think that's amazing.
But that's that's what they did with what's it called? That 24. You know that, don't you? That's how that happened. When they first started filming 24, they got the pilots, they got the pilot episode, and they said, right, we're going to just go for it now. So all the cast had to wear what they wore in the pilot. And some of them had just literally been auditioned and got the parts. They wore what they were wearing for the next 2 years. They literally had to make their clothes for them.
Wow.
But the weird thing was they never ever knew who was the killer, what was happening, because the writers hadn't written it yet. So nobody knew. So it made it really, really real, because that's what would happen in real life. And it was only commissioned for 12 episodes. It wasn't called 24. I think it was called something else. And after, just before the 12th episode was written, and that was the end of it, they said, right, we want another 12. We're going to do 24 episodes. It's 24 hours.
No. Yeah.
And then at the end of episode 12, they go, oh my God, it's happening again, because they didn't know how else to end it. So it restarted. And that is what happened in 24.
It was a very fantastic concept, actually, wasn't it? Because each part an hour in real time.
But I must tell you, my ex-partner said to me, and it was really, really funny what he said, because there is Kiefer Sutherland. He's jumping out of a plane. He's saving the world. He's doing this all in 1 hour. And my ex said to me, if that was just me, I'd just be sitting on the toilet.
If you actually had a vision of what you want to do for the future, what would it be?
I'd like to get a better paid book deal.
Right? Yeah, okay.
Would be nice.
That's really good. But I mean, the bigger picture, movies.
The bigger picture.
Yeah.
I can see me just writing until I'm just not capable of it anymore, to be honest. I just think it's the sort of thing that I'll always do.
Yeah.
So what's your process? How do you start? Do you start with an idea and then just see where it takes you, or do you have a formula already worked out?
I never have a formula. I'm very much a pantser. So I write sort of as I, a bit like 24 was, I have a concept. I usually have an idea. I might have the opening line of a novel and that's it. Sometimes it's the narrative voice that I've got. Usually I do know, though, what I want to happen at the end, but I don't necessarily know the journey that it's going to take or who's going to be responsible. And I often change my mind a million times throughout, especially when I'm writing thrillers, because I write myself into corners a lot. And then I go, right, well, I'm not sure where that's going to go, which is a good thing, because I think then the readers won't know where it's going to go, because I didn't.
Yeah.
Go think about it for a bit and then do it.
My mum was a writer and she wrote all of the Thunderbirds episodes.
That's right. Yes, this is Sky.
Contrary to popular belief, of course. And she said to me, I remember when I was a kid, and she said, when you write a story, have a beginning, middle, and end, and then the rest will fall into place.
That's right.
And I've always remembered that, and I think that was the best thing that could ever be said, because you've got a structure then, haven't you?
Yes, you do have sort of ideas that are like benchmarks that you think, I want this to happen, or you know, and you may have a cast of characters already in your head, but I'm not one of those people that I write down a plan. If I plan at all, it's in my head all the time. I'm just mulling it over and working it out. It's a bit, I always liken it, you know, after I saw I don't know if you've seen The Queen's Gambit on Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes. Brilliant.
Well, you remember that Anya Taylor-Joy used to lie in the bed just making these chess moves in her head.
Yes.
And she knew from when one piece was put on a chessboard, she'd know where the rest was going to go. I kind of think that writing for me is like that. I have these pieces that I move around on the board. And I know that sometimes if I put a piece in that place, that's going to mean something else. And sometimes I want to put them in a place where I don't know where it's going to go, just for, you know, the hell of it, really, to see where it will go.
Spontaneous, and that's the best creativity.
Do you ever get writer's block?
I didn't get writer's block, and for years and years, because I've written now about 27, 28 novels now, lots and lots of short stories, and
Wow.
I don't normally, but what happened was last year I got a really bad bout of COVID in July, and I got long COVID, and I really couldn't work. I just felt exhausted. And it taught me something, because that was incredibly stressful for me not to be able to write. It really was. By the end of, sort of by the beginning of this year, though, I was pushing myself back into working. And it took me longer to write the last book that I've written than it had ever done. And that was because I had to rebuild up my mental stamina again.
Yes.
And it was devastating for a while. I thought, I've lost it. I just can't do it. I was really
Scary.
really scared, and eventually I got to the wonderful NHS sent me to a long COVID clinic, and I ended up getting some mindfulness coaching from this amazing nurse who taught me about how I wasn't sleeping well, and that was another thing, stressed out because of it all as well. It was dealing with that, getting myself to get the rest I needed, and suddenly I started getting the energy back again. I built back up again to normal. But that's the only time I've ever had it. It was terrible.
Yeah. Because it's your passion, writing, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
And that's why you're successful, because it's when people follow their heart, like you have, that's where, you know, the audience feel that. It's like performing. You're engaging with the audience, and that's magnificent. And, you know, huge congratulations that you followed your heart. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you, Tinkerbell.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was really great talking to you. You were
come back
amazing.
and see us soon.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Take care. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that's it, isn't it? I think, and it's, you know, sometimes you have to just say, well, I'm going to do it, and you will do it. But as you say, things are happening, so that's all adding to the book, isn't it?
It's like never ending. It could go on and on.
Exactly.
Well, you've got a few more weeks now that you're not Wonderbirding at the crack of Sparrowfart or wherever it is. Thank you for joining us for the last few weeks, Junie. We love you, and we'll see you very, very soon. And we will see you guys next week or whenever we see you.
Take
soon.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.